You were very much in the game, but it's another disappointing night for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we started the game and conceded after 1 or 2 minutes a really soft goal. After that, in the moment that we are, it's difficult against this opponent. We get back in the game, we started to grow in the game, scored a really good goal. And we have a spell of 25 minutes that we were the better team. And after that, yeah, we conceded the second goal the way we did, and against this level of opponent, obviously they penalize you and it makes life really difficult. After that, you are chasing it. We have a great counter-attack moment that we are through, we lose the ball, and in the same play, they score in an offside position. And yeah, you end up losing the game again.
Your keeper looked a little bit nervy for much of the game. What can you say about the moment that arguably swung it City's way?
He hasn't played a lot of games for us. He's just adapting to the league, and that's it. We all made mistakes, and we have to support him.
It's a balancing act that you have to do in terms of getting players game time, but Bernd Leno played in the last round against Liverpool. Did you think about starting him tonight against another top 4 team?
Yes, but as well we know that Ben has played a lot of minutes. He needed some rest as well, and we want to give opportunities to other players, and Alex has done well in the other games, and these things happen in football.
It's another really disappointing night. How are you feeling at the moment?
Well, a really hard one to take, considering how the game went, the reaction that the team had against this level of opponent. Obviously, when you give the goals away that we gave, it makes the game impossible.
Do you feel you have the tools at the club to turn things around?
Yes, we do, because I see how much they try and what they are trying to do, but at the moment, a lot of strange things are happening in every game, and that makes things really difficult.
Yeah, the results aren't good at the moment. You've got a run of games against Chelsea, Brighton, and then West Brom over the festive period. Do you feel it's almost sort of make or break time for you?
Well, we have to turn it around. There's no other question. If we don't, we are in big trouble. So that's the moment that's going to decide our season.
Yesterday you spoke about you wanted fighters, not victims. People that complain about things. Do you have some victims within your squad then?
Well, I'm focused on the fighters that we have, the spirit that we showed tonight, again going against a really difficult opponent and conceding the goals that we did, and still the way we tried.
But there are some maybe who are not rowing in the right direction.
I see a lot of fighters.
You do see a lot of fighters?
Yeah.
And you believe that you can turn it around?
Yes.
Just one final thing, the January window is nearly upon us. Are you looking at players? Do you feel you need to bring in quite a few?
We are looking at options that we have, players coming in and out, and we will see what happens. A really complicated window with the pandemic and the way the football world is at the moment, so we will see how things develop.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks to you.
Great performance from Riyad Mahrez, and in the end a 4-1 win over Arsenal. These match stats are things that you need to look at. Arsenal actually scored with their first attempt on target, only had 2 in the whole match against Manchester City's 7. Possession did level up a little bit more in the second half. They were slightly more dominant in the first half, but in the end the only one that matters there is that scoreline, 4-1 to Manchester City over Arsenal. Well, Riyad Mahrez, we saw there, man of the match performance from him, and really the goal that he took as well. Why is it that you think Riyad Mahrez played so well today? In your own words, Micah.
No, he's been in great form. He's a player who can turn a game on its head. He can go inside, he can go outside. Feel so sorry for the goalkeeper here. He wanted to make an impression, but Mahrez, we see this for him week in, week out. You know, he does get a lot of goals. He does get a lot of assists. But I think the City fans wanted to see him just a little bit more consistent in terms of his delivery at times, and he's a little bit wasteful at times, but he's a top player.
Runarsson will not want to watch that back, Jamie, ever. What went wrong there?
I don't know, Laura. I almost feel bad jumping into his nightmare. It's one of those, you know, people make mistakes. He gets himself from a goalkeeper's perspective, it looks like he gets his body in the right position, just takes maybe his eye off the ball at the last second. I suppose it can happen. These things happen. We've seen it happen to great goalkeepers in the past. I think the first goal as well, he was at fault for. He made a brilliant, save from Jesus. So, look, what can you say? It's a nightmare for the poor boy. But you know what? In these situations, I'm sure Arsenal fans are thinking, well, why don't we play Leno? Why don't we play our number one goalkeeper? You know, goalkeepers don't need to rest. I know it's the Carabao Cup, but it's a big game for him today, and it didn't really make sense playing him in the first place. But you know, that being said, hopefully he comes back from it quickly and as get over it, because it's one of those things you've got to pick yourself up. What can you do?
Well, that was for 2-1. This is for 3-1. Fernandinho in the build-up here is brilliant, Micah, for Foden's goal. Talk us through his movement, his contribution to this.
Yeah, well, Fernandinho, I'm a massive fan of him, and I have been. But Foden picked some really cute positions, running in between the defenders, popped up on the left, the centre, and the right. And, you know, I'm screaming out for Foden to play more because he can get a goal. He makes always intelligent runs.
Is that intelligent, though, or is that slightly shades of offside?
It does look shades of offside there, if I'm being totally honest, Laura. It looks like his foot is offside. Had we had VAR, you know, I think VAR needs some credit sometimes, because if we had it today, it might have been ruled offside. I don't think it would have changed the game too much, but you want to get these decisions. And, you know, when it rains, it pours, and Arsenal at the moment, they can't catch a break, they really can't.
Couldn't catch a break because then it went to 4-1 and the pressure was piling up, the misery was piling up, Jamie, for this one. This is Laporte getting in on the action.
Lovely piece of play by Foden. He's such a great manipulator of the ball, exquisite passing. Again, leaders from Arsenal who's taking responsibility, people putting their arms up in the air. Who's the person that's actually going to go and head it? Is someone going to go mark, going to pick someone up? Mustafi's trying to push out, mark people behind you. How often have we seen him in that position with his arms up in the air trying to blame someone else? Not good enough. But that's indicative of what Arsenal are right now. And that's when I think about the young players at Arsenal. They need help. They need people, good role models, setting good examples. I look at Foden, when you talk about Fernandinho, what a joy watching Fernandinho and the way that he plays every day. And I also, even young players all around the country at Liverpool, for an example. But I look at people like Xhaka, the young man there, Saka. It must be hard for him, because he's seeing players week in, week out, ill-disciplined, not doing things right, setting bad examples. That's where you need good role models, good senior players. And right now at Arsenal, they're not setting the right examples to these young players. It's almost impossible for them.
Let's go back to the first goal, because this happened within 3 minutes. This was from Jesus. We were speaking about him pre-match, actually, about his contribution to this side and what they need to see more from him, Micah. What did you make of this goal?
It just needs to be more clinical. Like, you know, the comparisons with Aguero, it's very hard to compare him, but he does work hard for the team. His different attributes. He takes his goal very well, getting in between the two defenders there. The keeper, again, Renarsson, probably should do better here, but this is what he gives. He doesn't stand and admire his patch. He gets into the box, gets in between the post where he knows the goals are going to be. I'm a big fan of Jesus. I really am. I think he's a very good player. I just don't think he's at the level of Aguero, and I don't think it's fair to keep comparing them, because it's not. You don't want to keep comparing to a great in the Premier League. But what he does give, he gives that press. You know, when Man City a couple of seasons ago, they really pressed. They've sort of become a little bit of a possession team, a little bit. But when you've got a striker who is willing to run, it just, you know, gets the players up the pitch.
I want to draw your attention to an incident that we saw in the first half. When we talk about a little bit of luck and we talk about VAR, if Arsenal had VAR in this game, what do you think they would have made of this incident? Fernandinho with a little slap, by the looks of it, into Dani Ceballos' face.
I'd like to think they'd tell Ceballos, get up. You know, it's a little bit of a slap. Come on, get up and get on with the game. For some, it might be, if you got a VAR, it might be it's not for me. Maybe a yellow card for Fernandinho, but not enough.
No, I'll probably agree. They probably would have looked at it. They had to look at it.
The problem is, who knows with VAR? Who knows what they'd have done? Nobody knows. One person will say one thing. It's not a matter of fact. It's still a matter of opinion.
Ball one. So how impressive do we think Manchester City really were tonight?
You know, I'd be delighted with. They've been keeping clean sheets. Mike and I were talking about before the game. They've been really stable at the back, but problems scoring goals, not enough opportunities, not creating enough, and especially to do it without Kevin De Bruyne today, I think he'd be delighted with the result. I think Arsenal, so many problems right now, and he'll look at the 2 goals, maybe say, well, one was offside, the keeper should have saved the other one, but there was a golfing class there between the 2 teams.
Okay.
We're into the semi-finals yet again. What did you make of the performance tonight?
No, I think it was a solid performance. We started good, and then they equalised. And then second half we scored with the lucky free kick. and we put the third one, and it was more easy for us after.
You were 1-0 up, you were so dominant, and then suddenly Arsenal got back into it, almost out of the blue. Was the manager a bit frustrated at half-time? Were you frustrated?
No, sometimes it's like this. We cannot always dominate every game. We was good, but we didn't score the second one. So when you don't score the second one, you always they can score at any time. So, but in second half we scored the second and the third, and then we make it more easy for us.
Were you as surprised as anybody when your shot went in?
Yeah, I was surprised at the position of the keeper. He was very so close to the post. I thought he was gonna move a little bit. That's why I tried to put it there, but he didn't move. And luckily, he didn't catch it properly. So it's good for us.
The team have struggled for goals, haven't they? Which is surprising. So 4 tonight. That's just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, we're a bit struggling, but it's football. I think we're gonna come back to. It's not easy to always score 4 or 5 goals, even if it's always been our standard. But today we score 4 goals, we concede 1. I think it's a solid performance. Yeah.
Well done today. You are the Carabao man of the match. If you'd like to do your own presentation, please.
Oh, thank you.
Well done.
Cheers, guys.